What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is the second episode of the series, and today we are resuming our progress with Aston Villa in the Championship on the back of the series opener uploaded earlier today. If you missed it, please do go back and watch that one first. I'll leave a link to it in the description. But to briefly recap, we started the new save with Aston Villa. We won the pre-season tournament by beating Granada in the final by 2-1, and we made our first couple of signings with our new team as well, as he brought in a new right back / left back, Bustos, who looks really good. Very, very nice stats on this guy. And also a young, talented American centre-back called Eric Palmer-Brown, who also looks really, really decent for the future as well. So today, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the final amount of prize money we got from winning the European International Cup. The board are, of course, delighted with it, saying it will give us great exposure and the entire organisation will benefit from it. And we did indeed get 1.7 mil for winning the final, which means we collect the max amount of prize money, which was 4.1 million pounds in total, which means our budget has now skyrocketed, bit of an over-exaggeration, to 16.1 million pounds. With wage budget alterations, we're probably looking at around maybe 14 million pounds. Got to consider the bonuses this year as well when you sign players, but maybe around 14 million pounds currently available in our budget. Today we are going to play the first game of the Championship season, though. Really excited for that. We've got Hull City, relegated from last year's Premier League back to the Championship at home. That's going to be the Championship season opener, and hopefully a Carabao Cup game at home to Northampton as well. And I also plan to make 1 or 2 more signings today as well, if we can. But the first thing I want to do before we do anything today is set up the training. I didn't do it in the last episode, totally forgot all about it. And for me, if you're a new viewer to the channel, when I do training, I just set up the 5 drills and simulate them week after week. I don't really, well, I never play them because I'm rubbish at the drills, to be honest, and the simulating probably gives me better results than I get myself. And it just takes up time, which I think I'd rather spend doing other things in the save. So yeah, I'm going to train Eric Palmer-Brown quite a bit because I really do like the look of this kid. He's got some decent pace stats on a centre-back, and at just 20 years old, low high work rate, I think he could be one for the future, no doubt about it. We'll give Jack Grealish a little bit of training as well. Obviously, he's a really good young talent too, so we'll try and bump that stamina up a little bit if we can, and maybe some of his technical attributes as well. We want this guy to be our main cam for the series. He's got some really good stats, 4-star skills as well. I like him a lot. Where's the short pass? There it is. We want to get his technical stats trained, and the final drill, we'll give this to, I could give it to Davis, the young striker we do have plans for in the future, or perhaps Andre Green, who, like Grealish, we had in the Huddersfield save, because this guy, he impressed in the pre-season final, and I definitely have plans for him to be our first choice left midfielder throughout the entire save. So we'll train those 3 players to begin with. Obviously, we'll mix up a little bit as the series goes on, but for the time being, those are the 5 drills, and those are the 3 players we'll prioritise. Just noticing the manager rating's gone up by 1 rating as well, which I'm not too sure why. But as we get into July, we have an email here, and it's a transfer offer for Jack Grealish. Oh, how interesting is that? Oh dear. Huddersfield, sorry, I was surprised. Huddersfield Town want to take Jack Grealish for £7.6 million. Obviously, we signed him on a free contract in that save that I did earlier on in the year. But, of course, in this save, he's going nowhere. He's not going to the Kirklees Stadium, David. He's staying right here. And Grealish stays with us. That took me completely by surprise, that. And as we're now 4 days away from the start of the season, you can see we've also got our season ticket sales coming to our budget as well. Just a £2.68 million for selling almost 12,000 of our 42,000 capacity. So that's good. Budget goes up a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. And since there's been no bids for any of our other players but Jack Grealish, why don't we try and sign a new player? Now, in the last episode, I did tease you guys and said I was thinking about a new left back, especially since Neil Taylor did get injured in pre-season. Thankfully, he's okay to play the first game, but we are a little bit mindful of the fact he's our only registered left back. And whilst Bustos and, of course, Delat can play there, I wouldn't mind a new left back. And there are 3 players on the shortlist. You saw one in the last episode, Antonio Barreca, but we've got him in our club and country save. Ryan Sessegnon, who I'm not against signing again. We had him in our Huddersfield save, but also a different option, Rico Henry from Brentford, a really good young talent. Sadly, in real life, picked up a serious injury, which is a bit of a shame, which is 20 years old, but a very, very good young talent. And I don't think it costs that much either. Valued at 1.6 mil with 15 grand on the wages, high medium work rates, and look at this guy's physical stats here. He's absolutely rapid. Now, in the last episode, I said my fullbacks are crucial in career mode. I have them as wing backs. They go forward a lot. They cross the ball in. That's what Bustos has been signed to do on the right-hand side. And I think Henry, with his stats, just like Bustos, would complement him perfectly on that left-hand side. He's got the flair trait as well, and he can play further forward. To me, while Sessegnon and Barreca I have experience with both, and they're both really good, I like to try and vary it up from time to time and sign different players I've not used before, and I really like the look of this kid a lot. I'm going to try and make him my #1 target. Now, he's valued at 1.6 mil. I don't think we'd have to pay much more than that for Henry. We could try and be a little bit cheeky and put in a player swap and possibly offer them Richie Delat, who won't have much of a long-term future here if we are to go ahead and sign this guy, but I'm not sure Brentford will want him. No, they want a right winger, so forget about that then. We'll just go ahead and offer a straight transfer fee of what his valuation is, which is 1.6 mil, and let's see what Brentford say. And they say no, but they will accept the transfer fee so long as we put a 5% sell-on clause on, which to me is a good deal. Yes, of course, in the future he could be sold on for a profit and they'll get a little bit of that due to the sell-on clause. However, that's just a valuation bid. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take it every day of the week. Of course, he could be sold on for a profit and a little bit will be skimmed and go to Brentford, but hey, there's no guarantee that's going to happen. £1.6 million and 5% sell-on clause, bargain in my opinion. So we just agreed on 3 components in the contract for Rico Henry. We've got him on a rotation squad role, which is ideal as Neil Taylor will still probably be our first choice left back this year. A 3-year deal. I wanted more than that, sadly, but the agent wasn't having any of it. And a no release clause as well. So what I normally do when I offer a contract is just offer them exactly what they're on to begin with and see what they say to that. So 15 grand a week. Let's see what Rico says. And he wants a pay cut. Absolutely love it. Plus 175 grand sign-on bonus. Bonus is quite expensive, but I'm okay paying that. We've got the cash to afford it. And for 1.6 mil, that is a brilliant signing. That's a really, really great signing and a great way to start today's episode off as well. We've got Bustos on the right now, Henry on the left-hand side, probably as backup for Taylor to begin with, but that's a brilliant signing right there. I know the 5% sell-on clause could mean if we do sell on for a big profit, Brentford will get quite a bit of that, but I gotta say, man, the future looks really bright in our fullback role now. Rico Henry is in on the left-hand side. We've got Bustos on the right-hand side. Obviously, James Bree, lest we forget, also has some decent potential as well. A young right-back too. We have got a really, really solid team at the moment, and we're building for the future. We're building for the future. And again, I think I will keep Neil Taylor my first-choice left-back. He's on that rotation contract, but when you look at this guy's stats, that's a great signing. 1.6 mil, 5% sell-on clause. Absolute bargain, that. Absolute bargain. Now, it's not all about the young talent of Aston Villa. We touched on it earlier. We want some good experienced players to sign for this club as well. And I think this guy will be a really good addition to some of the veteran players we've got here already. Clint Dempsey from Seattle Sounders. Of course, he knows England. He's been here before. And I think this guy will be a brilliant signing. Of Eric Palmer-Brown coming from America. He could do with an American bro as well to have him taking him under his wing. So Dempsey, I think, will be a really good signing. When you look at his wages as well, that is what's really appealing to me. He's 34 years old. He's 78 rated. But he's only on 9.5 grand a week, and he's got 4-star with some lovely traits. Physically, he's not deteriorated too much, and technically, he's still definitely got it as well. Flair, long shot taker, technical dribbler, can play in a wide variety of positions. I think Dempsey, for just a season or two, would be a really good signing. Dempsey will give us more depth in the midfield area. He can play in different positions. He's got some really good stats, and again, he's done it before here. He's done it in England before. He's a really, really solid player. And we'll see what Seattle Sounders want. I think they'll ask for quite a bit of money more than his valuation. No! Well, there goes my theory. I thought they were going to ask for like £7 to £8 million, but 4.6 mil for Dempsey on what? Just over 9 grand a week? That will be an absolute bargain. Let's find out how much he wants in his contract. Well, he wants to be a crucial first-team member, which is going to be a little bit of a problem because obviously Jack Grealish is the guy we want to be our first-choice cam this year. But you know what? Okay, we'll fit him in somewhere, maybe on the left-hand side. Wouldn't be a bad little option. And he only wants a 1-year deal. Okay, Dempsey just wants to come in for a year, be a starter, and maybe retire on that. We're going to try and counter that and go to 2 years, see if we can get 1 more year on that and see what he says. Yes, excellent stuff. No release clause, good stuff. And now let's talk money. Does he want a wage increase or not? We'll give him what he's on right now, 9.5k a week, and just hope he's going to be okay not asking for more. Let's find out together. Nope, wants an extra grand, but 2 bonuses there, which don't really make me sweat too much. Only 91 grand on the sign-on bonus, 65 grand over 5 games. We'll remove that one. That'll probably see the wage go up by about a grand. It doesn't. That's going to be enough. 10.5 grand a week for Clint Dempsey, 78 rated, and just 6 million pounds. What a bargain. Aston Villa are making brilliant signings. We've got 4 fantastic ones, 3 great youngsters, and our brilliant experienced players as well. This has been an amazing start to today's episode. 2 absolute bargains. Clint Dempsey has still got some amazing stats. He's got some good physicals there as well for a 34-year-old. Some nice traits as well. What a bargain, man. Seriously, we are making some brilliant moves here. Where we fit him in, though, I'm not too sure. Do we play him in his natural cam role, take out Grealish, have him coming off the bench? Do we have Dempsey coming off the bench, despite what he said in his contract? Do we start him on the left-hand side ahead of Adoma? He can be an inside forward on that left-hand side. I'm not sure. I think for the time being, we will leave him on the bench, but he's probably going to be a starter at some point. But for the time being, on the bench, that's a great signing, though. What a bargain. And just before we head into the first game against Hull City, we do, interestingly enough, now have a bid here for Albert Adoma from Swansea, who want to take him for 5.4 mil. That's not a bad bid, though. You can probably get a little bit more money as well, which is over the valuation. But I think I'd rather keep him here. He's got some really good stats, and whilst we're still not sure whether Dempsey will be first choice this year, we've got green for the future. I'd rather keep him here. But also a bid for Richie Delat. Middlesbrough want to take him for 2.35 mil. That's over his valuation. And after just completing the signing of Rico Henry, having Bustos signing for the club as well, we've got Elmo, we've got James Breed, the youngster. I'm going to take that. I didn't plan to sell him, but I'm going to take that. If he wants to go to Middlesbrough, I'll add that money. We do have an email here just for the whole game. Is that going to be confirmation that Delat has gone? Or is it going to be a player asking to play? No, Palmer Brown, who had a decent pre-season final, says he wants to play in the first game of the Championship season. Don't think it's going to happen, Eric. You're going to have to wait for your chance and be patient. But I like the hunger in him, wanting to start games straight away. But he's definitely going to get used this season. But he's going to have to impress in the cup games and the midweek games, I think, before he gets to step up to the first team. So we're about to play our first game of the Championship season then, and we do indeed play host to recently relegated Hull City. Both teams will be vying for promotion to the Premier League this season, no question. So already a massive game to start off with in the first game of the Championship. We are of course playing a 4-2-3-1 we played in pre-season, and I'm going to give debuts to Henry and Dempsey as well. So our team is Johnston in goal, a back four of Rico Henry, James Chester, John Terry, the captain, and Bustos at right back. Jedinak and Lansbury are our DMs, with Dempsey on that left-hand side as we teased earlier. Snodgrass on the right, 2 good inside forwards, good technical ability. Jack Grealish to Cam, and Kodjo, who scored twice in the final, our striker as well. Want to start off with a win. Come on, Aston Villa. Let's get the 3 points here at Villa Park to begin with.
Well, they can be really the heartbeat of the team, these central midfield players, and we've got a new one making his debut today. What do you make of it, Alan?
Well, I'm impressed by the signing. I think he'll give them a bit more composure in the middle of the park. He can get up and down. He's a good pass for the ball.
Defending the whole end to begin with, and hopefully we'll be able to keep a clean sheet in our first game of this season with 2 new fullbacks joining the side. And of course the fans at Villa Park, you know, that the whole end, such an iconic stand, going to be really important. Our home form this season going to be really important if we are to get promoted. Need to make this place a fortress. Villa Park is such a beautiful ground. I've been there a couple of times, sadly never to watch a game, but it's such a wonderful stadium. And if we can get off with a winning start here at home in front of the home crowd, that is the start I'm aiming for. Here's Snodgrass on the ball, looks for Kodjo, pokes him through. It's Kodjo. Oh, great save by David Marshall as he turns behind for a corner. I'll be very disappointed if Kodjo does not score 15+ goals this year. I really like the look of him. Messed up with that moment there, but that was my fault for a terrible attempt. It's still 0-0. But here come Hull City. Ryan Mason into Abel Hernandez, and the Uruguayan on the turn goes for goal, and Sam Johnston watches it sail over the crossbar. Still 0-0. Definitely goals in this game, and again a big game to start off with. We don't want to lose. We've got to make sure we get the 3 points. Come on. Stephen Kingsley over the top to Sebastian Larsson. There is Bustos with the interception, and Terry getting fancy as he finds James Chester. And now Jedinak out wide towards Clint Dempsey. On the ball really for the first time in the game. What can the American do? Gets round 1, gets round 2. Can he find a teammate, or can he go for goal himself? Clint Dempsey ripples the roof of the net. That'll do it for the first half here at Villa Park. Still tied at 0-0. We've looked a slightly better team, but sadly I missed a golden chance we had with Kodjo. Dempsey's gone close as well, but still 0-0. I think someone will break the deadlock at some point, but it might just be settled by the 1 goal this game. We're attacking the whole end of the second half. Let's get a goal. Let's win this match. Going to make a change at the break as well and bring off Robert Snodgrass. and bring on Albert Adoma to play down that right-hand side. Now, normally we want the inside forwards, but I feel we're lacking like real pace down the flanks at the moment. We've got Henry, we've got Bustos on the overlap, but we want our wingers to have the pace as well as being good technical players. So Snodgrass off, Albert Adoma on. We've kept him here, and I've got plans for him this season. If he's not starting, he's definitely going to be on the bench. What can he do coming off the bench at half time? Can he change this game? Let's find out. Trying to outpace Bustos. Good luck with that, mate. As Bustos tracks back to win it, he finds Adoma, and now a chance to exploit this right flank with Rosicky nowhere to be found. Adoma's going to need a teammate here, or can he cut inside and do it alone and then go back outside? Hopefully, yep, he's round Evandro, who's been left in the mud there, and he's round another. Great work from Albert Adoma, really great work. Now can he pick a cross? In it goes to Dempsey at the far post, headed clear by Moses Odubajo, and Hull get it away. Excellent run from Adoma, just couldn't pick out a man in the area, still tied at 0-0, 25 minutes to go. Can either side claim what will surely be a winning goal? Well, I think that is going to do it for the first game. A 0-0 at Villa Park to start off with. Not a great start, a goalless draw. We played okay. Our defence was actually really tight. With two new fullbacks, that's pretty encouraging. But sadly, just couldn't create enough chances. Couldn't apply the finishing touch when we did. 0-0, not a bad result, but not the way I wanted to start. Obviously, a 0-0 draw is not really how he wanted to start off, but it's not a terrible result against a recently relegated side that will be promotion rivals for us this season. And James Chester had a really solid game at the back as well. In fact, our whole back four was really solid, I felt. Our two new fullbacks, that's really important to see our back four not look out of sync right from the get-go. So Chester man of the match, a decent display against one of his former clubs. A 0-0 draw, it's not a bad result. It's not a bad result. And there's also a bid for Jedinak as well. Mark Hughes is Stoke, putting a bid of £1.9 million for the guy. But I don't really want to see this guy go. I like him a lot. 74 rated, 33 years old, still got some good stats. We'll delegate, and we'll see if we can get anything close to around £3 to £4 million, which is highly unlikely. If they want to give us that cash, they can have him. But otherwise, I'm not interested. So we'll go £3 to £4 million. If Stoke want him, they can have him, and we'll find out eventually. And there's also confirmation that the latter's been sold and is off to the Riverside Stadium for $2.35 million as well. We'll see 1.7 mil of that, which means that right now, heading into the Northampton game in the Carabao Cup, our team looks like this. The depth is getting a little bit smaller, but I still think the team's got some good young talent and got enough cover in every position. So we've still got quite a lot of money in our budget right now. What have we got right now? £10 million plus 60 grand on the wage budget as well. So there's still enough to bring in one or two new players. But I also want a youth scout as well at some point too. Now I did say that we're doing quite a bit of youth scouting in this save. I'm going to wait for a 5-star one to appear, and then once one does, I'll pick one up for the academy, because youth scouting is going to be really important in this save, so got to be mindful of that in the budget. So we're now going to play our second and final game today as we take on Northampton Town. Cobblers, no really, never get told, in the Carabao Cup. A fully rotated side for the game. This competition really is quite meaningless for us, really. And whilst it would be nice to have a good cup run in the first season, we're prioritising the league and the league only, to be honest. Our team is going to be a 4-2-3-1, and again, 11 changes. So Galini in goal, back for a Taylor Samba, Palmer Brown making his competitive debut for us, and El Mohammadi at right back. Whelan, the captain, and Huri Hain through the middle, with Bjarnason on the left, Snodgrass on the right, Josh Onema on loan from Spurs, the attacking mid, and Scott Hogan, the striker, as well. So a goalless draw to start off with. I don't want that in this game. Let's get some goals. Let's get our first win. Come on, Aston Villa. This is a good chance for fringe players such as Palmer Brown on the ball to show us what they can do and why they deserve more minutes in this team in our first season. As Onema finds Scott Hogan out wide towards Robert Snodgrass. I'll try and play it back inside to our striker, who's running through. Oh, puts it wide of the post. Golden chance. Spurns just 8 minutes in. Got to take that. I didn't think that goals would be a concern for us in our first season. I like our midfield when going forward. Our attack is very decent, but at the moment the finishing is a bit of a worry as Northampton are through and Galini has to bail us out there, denying Paul in the 28th minute. This is a worrying start for Aston Villa. We're not clicking at the moment. We're not playing our best football. So free kick won by Aston Villa. Got some good set piece takers in this team, including Robert Snodgrass. I'll try and bend one in if I can. Oh, yes, it did go in. Get in. Robert Snodgrass gives us our first goal for Aston Villa. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but the first goal I've scored in a series is a free kick. I'm rubbish at free kicks. I only score like one a series, and that's the one that starts the series off. Great goal by Snodgrass, and we have the lead 11 minutes before the break. We've got some good set-piece takers in this team, and Robert Snodgrass is renowned for scoring some nice free kicks from time to time, and that is a wonderful goal into the bottom corner. For a moment I thought it went wide of the post and just straight a fraction outside it, but instead it's a perfect, accurate strike from Snodgrass. He gives us the goal, and a man on loan from West Ham puts us in front. 15 minutes to go and we're still leading by 1, but again it's been a game of very few chances, a bit of a scrappy affair. We're not really clicking at the moment as Taylor tried to put it in, but James Bree is there. Just not sure what's wrong with us, really. There's no conviction behind our play. Got to change that, really. The Championship's such a competitive division. Can't play like this for the remainder of the year. As Bjarnason goes down left-hand side, as Menswema in the centre. I'll lift one towards El Mohammadi arriving late, who lifts it over the bar. Still 1-0, 9 minutes to go. If this goes into extra time and Northampton nick a late equaliser, I'll be livid. We've had some chances, but the finishing again hasn't really been there. El Mohammadi on the ball, looks for Gabby Agbonlahor, finds him. It's Gabby, it's Gabby, it's Gabby Agbonlahor off the post. Off the post, and it goes again. Agbonlahor again, this time easy save for England. Gabby Agbonlahor off the woodwork, and still 1-0. Our finishing at the moment is really subpar, and that is surely going to do it. It's not going to be a convincing win here at Villa Park, but it is a win regardless, and our first of the series. So into the next round of the Carabao Cup, a 1-0 win courtesy of a Robert Snodgrass free kick. It's not been a great start for Aston Villa, and signs that this is not going to be an easy first season for us with such high ambitions and expectations from the board. However, we are through. We've avoided embarrassment, and that's good enough for me. It's quite bizarre, but it seems like the opposite is happening at the start of the season from what I initially thought was going to be the case. Our attack is our letdown at the moment. I thought that was going to be our main strength this season, but our defence, which I was more concerned about, hence the 2 new signings in the fullback role and Palmer Brown as well, is where we're looking the strongest. Our back line is really good, but I'll give Snodgrass the man of the match for scoring that wonderful free kick to open the scoring and then settle the scores as well, as we are through to the next round. And after a frustrating couple of games, we've at least ended on a high, picked up a couple of new signings as well, and that'll do it for today's episode. So that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like, as they are very much appreciated. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.